when I was young, 20 years ago, I should say, I really, really, really wanted to be a fighting game pro. That was like my dream. And I would see, this was the rise of Daigo, of Justin Wong, of Combo Fiend. I mean, I even happened to see Combo Fiend at a tournament. Funny story, I saw Combo Fiend at a tournament before he became famous. We were in Thousand Oaks at this guy Render's house. Earl. Shout outs to Earl. I miss you, buddy. And he beat my friend in the bracket. He knocked my friend out of the bracket. And he wasn't even looking at the screen. Like, he was talking to his friend. He was having like a full-blown, in-depth conversation, looking at him, talking, and just tapping buttons. And when he was done, my friend Chad looked at me. He's like, he wasn't even paying attention to the game, and he kicked my ass. And I was like, that's crazy. So I thought I was pretty good, and I think I was. I was good for somebody who didn't have advanced level competition. It's sometimes a little bit jarring to stomp through everybody and then hit into a brick wall. I get this a lot with people who are like casuals, and they're like, oh, I'm so good at the game. I at least knew more advanced stuff, and then I had like a really strong group of friends. We're all still friends to this day, and they were all extremely competitive and very talented. Everyone's really, still to this day, really talented gamers. It just kept getting harder and harder, and we were, even though we were in a vacuum, we were doing very well. I mean, I was obsessed. Like, I would watch anything I could online. We were going to any tournaments we could. Whatever we could manage, we did. We were doing meetups. Sometimes people would rent out a venue, and it'd be this like weird office space out in the middle of nowhere, and we were traveling to Thousand Oaks and Oceanside, and it was a great time. It's one of the things that I really loved about the FGC. It's built by the players. It's built by the players, and I love that from the beginning. Even when corporations have tried to come in, they just haven't. It hasn't been profitable enough for them. It doesn't seem like it really works out, but like, it's really, really just built by the players. And that's one of my absolute favorite parts. It was the thing I loved about it. I love watching people. These events are all from people who are really, truly passionate about it. And it's almost good that corporations have tried to come in and make profit out of it. They do what corporations do, make something grow and try to develop it, and then, they think it's going to be profitable sometime in the future. I mean, in my eyes, it almost seems better that way, because then you don't have to, it's still just got that raw essence of by the players, for the players. But I did that for a long time, and a lot of my friends kind of dropped off. I remember one of my friends, we were going around, we actually went to Devastation, I think in 09, 08, 09. And Phoenix, Arizona. I remember it was a long-ass trip, and we went out there. And he entered for Soul Calibur, and I entered for Guilty Gear, and I think maybe some other side games. And after he was done, he said he's done. He's like, I'm out, dude. He's like, I can't do this. Oh, I entered Smash Bros. too, even though I don't play that game, but he needed a two-man. He told me he's out. I was like, what are you talking about? It's like, you have to meet your hero Ares. He's like, I just don't have it in me, dude. And that to me at the time, it just seemed so foreign. I was like, what? Are you crazy? I was like, this is it. But it was just more important to me to keep going than to him. I think he wanted to do other things, which I understand more now. Fighting games is really not for everybody. It's a pretty brutal thing. As time went on, I eventually started tattooing, and the crazy part is that I would be in the shop after closing, because they had really good internet. I had convinced this guy we opened the shop with to get really good internet so that afterward, when the shop was closed, I would stay there and I would play on this like amazing internet until I was ready to pass out and fall asleep. And the game I was playing at the time was Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. And I hadn't been able to get Guilty Gear off the ground. Guilty Gear was also extremely niche at the time. It's still niche compared to the other ones. Everything's grown. I always liked Marvel 2. I was never pro at it, but GOAT game for sure. And I was really into Ultimate Marvel 3, and I really liked that game, and I was trying really, really hard to get, like, really level up in that game. And I was completely locked in, and I would do tattoos, and tattoos was a really lucrative business at the time, because the tattoo shows just came out and everybody sort of wanted to get tattoos, and I kind of been pursuing it. I always was good at art, and I was making money from that, and I was using the money from the tattoos to go to tournaments. So it would pay for my hotel, it would pay for my hardware, pay for my games, consoles, all that kind of stuff, pay for my admissions, entry fees. I was doing that for a long time, and I remember I had put so much time into it, and I was sweating too. And I remember I fought a friend, and I would say he's, as far as like where the list of, if 0 is not knowing the game or being scrub, if it's from scrub to pro, he's somewhere from middle high, I'd say. Very good player, very strong. Everyone I was fighting was really strong. Suddenly the competition, it wasn't easy, and it got really hard. And I remember being like, I think I'm probably, if not half, at least 3/4 of the way there, I would estimate, to my dream of being a pro player. And I was like, to finish the last little bit was gonna take not even the same amount of time that I just spent getting this far. It was gonna take double or triple to get that far. I was looking at it like a vast chasm, and I think right there I had to make a choice. I was like, do I take all this energy that I'm spending on fighting games, and do I put it into tattooing? Because now tattooing is actually paying me. And to tattooing's credit, I love what I do. Kind of like fighting games, the more you put into it, the more you get out. But you also get paid instead of paying. And it was just kind of like a time in my life where I was like, I think I kind of need to focus on this. So I really just started focusing on that. I think I really started putting my energy in that direction because it was far more pragmatic than it was to try to be an FGC pro. I needed to really build a life, and Twitch, I don't even think Twitch existed. I think it might have existed, but people streamed tournaments and like locals and stuff like that. Or I don't even think that. I think when you wanted to look for a stream, you had to go to Shoryuken, because that's when it started to kind of like, that was one of the first news. It would be like tournament happening here, tournament happening here. It was more like a lot of its articles would be tournament announcements and new game releases, and they would show a little bar on the side what tournaments are coming up and which ones you can. It probably still does that. I haven't checked in a while because it's so accessible now when things are happening, knowing when things are happening. I also had other interests. I had bills to pay, girls, friends, life. I didn't want to just I still needed a lot of worldliness. So I think it was, all in all, nothing worth regretting. But I had chosen to become more casual, to focus on my endeavors into the world. Even despite that, and in my travels into the normal world, or what I call not fighting game world, navigating regular life, getting into martial arts, sports, dating, business, life, understanding just kind of how things work, learning how to be a man, all that kind of stuff. I would still keep games in my rotation, and I would still get into betas for like the Stride beta. I was into, I think, all of them. I think there was 2, maybe 3, but whatever ones. Dragon Ball Fighters when it came out was great. I never really like stuck with them. So a lot of what I'm getting at with these is like I'll want to get back into it and I'll feel the urge, and then life will come at me again. And I think a lot of it is I still feel that old fire. Like if I'm playing these games, I still feel that old fire. And no matter what I do, I just can't get away. If I don't encounter fighting games for long enough, I'll pop up in my feed. I mean, I've never been a Tekken guy, even though I'm playing Tekken now. And Tekken tournaments would pop up in my feed, and I would just watch the tournament because it was awesome. Because it was, I just, you know, I mean, when I was younger, I would be on it. I would be so on it, and I'd watch, you know, all these tournaments. I remember leaving SoCal Regionals one time, and by the time I dropped, we were like, well, let's just get out of here. I think a couple of us gotten sick. Really unfortunate. We had gotten a cold, and we drove back, and I was watching it at my house. I was watching the last of the grand finals at my house. And I think also, too, one of the things that I needed to learn that I wasn't good at was making friends. I think if I could do it again, I would have been a lot more social, because I think I was just really used to playing in a vacuum, not taking advantage of the crowd of people I've been with. I just didn't know. I just didn't know what to do. So I think it was really important. I think it's really important to be social. And these were not skills I would have learned continuing on the path that I was going. And I think now I have a really strong understanding of how to build connections with people, and valuable connections, and how to be part of other people's lives to bring value to the people who also bring you value. I think I make so many more friends now as I go to tournaments. I talk to people and I open up conversations, and I know how to talk to people comfortably, you know, have pleasant discourse, and building friends. Which if I should have built better relationships with people in the past when I was doing it, and I would probably have stuck with it. I think that was probably the X factor, but I was so bad at it. I was such a shut-in. I was such a socially awkward kid back then. The irony is that having a good social circle would have improved so much of my life, despite it just being a game. So it just goes to show you how important connections are, especially in the FGC. I mean, that last C means community. So being able to participate and be a part of the community is an important aspect to understand, I think. I guess, why do I want to do this now? I guess a lot of things are kind of lining up. I guess what it really boils down to is I feel like I have a story to tell, and I also want to get back into fighters after being out of it competitively for a long time, and having the opportunity to have such an advancement with technology now, to be able to do something like this, record yourself and talk to a camera, and learn how to, while you're learning how to play a game, is very accessible. So I just feel like it's something I want to do, and I'm really just following my heart on this one. And I mean, I saw a video by this guy Loops, fighting game stuff. Like I said, I just can't keep away. YouTube keeps throwing something in, and I'm just like, click, all right, let's check this out. And he just played a bunch of footage. It was his thoughts on the current state of the FGC, and he was just playing a lot of footage of him playing and talking about his thoughts. So that's probably what I'm going to do now. I'm probably not going to put my face in this. I thought that was great. It was not only very insightful, enjoyed the video. It was a good video. He talked about some good stuff, and he had some cool Darkstalkers footage on the end. I guess I'll link it if you guys want to see it. I've been seeing more content creators come up, and ones that I like. So why am I doing this? Well, I have been out of the scene for a while. Like I told you, I've been out of the scene for a while, and the new year was coming up. This idea had been brewing for a few months before the new year started, and it kind of trickled in, and I thought, if I were to play any game right now, what would it be? And I always have that tug to play a game, and I've never achieved like master rank on something. So, or there's always like a grand master rank in these games. Anyway, the New Year's coming up, and I thought that would make a good resolution. And I like my resolutions. I like to keep them short, attainable, and I like to stick to them. And I think they're fun. They're a good way to grow as a person. I thought to myself, and I miss the scene. I miss these things. I miss that. The games I play is fighting games. I play other games, but the other games I play are just for fun. And obviously I play fighting games for fun, but that's like my game. Like, I've always played those games. I mean, even as a kid, we would beg my mom to. I mean, like, even as a kid, me and my brother, we would beg to have our parents drop us off at the arcade. We were like, please, just give us like $20 and just leave us there for like 2 hours. Like, that arcades were, when I was a kid, arcades really existed. There were buildings stores that were just arcades. You just go in, coin machines, and they were within like walking distance or driving distance. It wasn't like how Super Arcade was an arcade for a long time, but you had to spend like 45 minutes driving to, I forgot where it was. But I only have been there one time, I think, and there was another arcade too in SoCal. But I mean, when I was a kid, there were like arcades in town, and then even when those kind of went away, you would have Funland. You can go there, and they'd have Marvel vs. Capcom 2. We would love to go to Funland because Marvel vs. Capcom 2 would be at Funland, and it just really core rooted in me. So I feel like this is something I need to keep in my rotation just to be happy with my life. If I don't have fighting games, if I just were to completely shut them out of my life and never play them again, I know what that feels like because I've done it for years and I don't like it. So, and why am I doing it like this? I think it's just kind of cool to document the journey. I mean, I bet no one's probably going to watch this or listen to this or even see the whole thing through. It'll be a nice thing for me to have. I don't think I've never regretted a picture I took of myself. I've never regretted a selfie I took of myself. At first it was really weird. It's really weird right now, but I've never regretted that I took it and it existed because I always like looking at it and seeing it, and it's just great thing to look back on. I may look back on this in a year and go, wow, like that was kind of cool. But I also want to see what it's like going from somebody who used to hate Tekken. I was a 2D fighter guy, but now I'm converted and I really like the game, and I think Tekken 8's a really fun game. It's really accessible and it's really fun. I think it's a great game. It's my first Tekken and I'm coming in as an absolute scrub. And then I'm going to see how far I can get within a year. I'm going to see if I can play it for a year straight and I can go as far as I could. I'm just going to see what happens. And I know a friend who's so good at Guilty Gear, and he's not good for any other reason except he just plays a couple hours every day. And he's been doing it for the last like 5 years. And he's got like 700 hours played on it, and he's on monster. And he just keeps playing. So I thought, I bet I can do that with this. And even if I don't end up playing it, I can always just transition to the new game coming out. And in the end, I'm just following my heart. I think it's important to lay out some goals for this too. And first and foremost, I wrote here that the goals got destruction rank. And I wrote that late at night, just making a list of talking points. I think the goal should be play Tekken for a year. And that's what I'm going to try to do. I want to just stick with it for a solid year and try to get as good as I can. Other fighters are also okay, but at least just play fighters for a year. I'm going to record my progress every single day. I'm going to record my progress. I'm going to record my matches, and then mostly keep this as kind of like a journal for the future, kind of like what I just said. I want to take every point where I make breakthroughs and plateaus and all that stuff and just try to talk about them and work them out. I think another great goal would be to build friends. Maybe if I reach one person and we develop a friendship and he's a good rival, we can get better together, or someone I can just learn from other people. That's also great, I don't really know how to close this, so I guess I'll just leave this as the first entry. I'll talk more about maybe why Tekken and stuff on another video. I feel like this video's run kind of long, but I don't know. That's my story. I hope it was good. I hope it was entertaining, and I hope everyone has a really rad day.